Hi, in our previous lesson, when we were talking from the book of Genesis chapter 1, we covered day 6 of creation, part 1. And that was Genesis 1:24 to 27. And we ended off verse 27 by saying, in the image of God, he created him, male and female, created he them. In other words, man was the creation of man was defined by the fact he created male and female of man. So we will continue today. But what I wanted to say about that is that God saw male and female, man and woman, as being equal partners. That's what that implies. Let's continue. Genesis 1:28 to 31. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I've given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creeps upon the earth. Yuck, that's the bugs. Blech. Wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for food. And it was so. Wow, foregone conclusion. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, now he didn't say it was good. He said it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Now previously, God had blessed sea life and the flying animals on day 5. But now we see a difference. Back in verse 22, God blessed them saying, that was God speaking and making things happen with his words. But now we hear, God blessed them and said to them. He didn't just say, he spoke to mankind. He said to them. And God spoke to them. Isn't that special? God speaks to each one of us if we would only listen. He spoke to them in the form of a command that could be obeyed or not. Mankind had a choice. Mankind, being created in God's image, had the ability to have communion with God, to be able to communicate with God. That is special. None of the animals had that. When God speaks to us, he both communes with us, he teaches us, he commands us. These were God's first commandments to both male and female. Actually, if you think about it, they could be 7 blessings, and I'm going to give them to you right now. First, be fruitful and multiply. God wanted the happy couple to have babies, and lots of them. Second, fill the earth. In the KJV it says replenish. God expected mankind to inhabit all the earth. In other words, don't stop being fruitful until the earth was filled. Third, subdue the earth. God tells mankind to conquer and control the earth. Back in verse 26, God let mankind have dominion over all the earth. Subdue speaks not only of wise stewardship, but taking charge. How many of us men and women have ever taken charge of our destiny? God set man at a special, prominent position in creation. Have you ever thought of that? Number 4, God said, have dominion over the fish of the sea. God told man to exercise sovereign authority over the sea creatures. It's interesting that man was not given the authority over the sea itself. Interesting, isn't it? Number 5, man was told by God to have dominion over the fowl of the air. Similarly, God told mankind that they had the power or right of governing and controlling all flying creatures, but not the air itself. Number 6, God told man to have dominion over every living thing that moves upon the earth. In verse 26, however, God gave people charge over domestic animals and all insects, bugs, and creepy crawly animals, but he left out the wild animals. Could it be that verse 26 already gave us a glimpse of God's foreknowledge of the sinfulness of man and the conditions of the world after the flood to come later on? How about number 7? God commanded the man and the woman to eat from every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth. Folks, I want you to listen carefully to these precise instructions so that later on you don't get confused by what happens later. Which is the God commanded the man and the woman to eat from every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be food. That's oranges, apples, pears, plums, etc., nectarines, peaches, any tree that has the fruit, that has the seed in itself. The food was already created, as we could see in verse 12. It included any herb or bush growing from seeds, including grains, vegetables, beans, and fruits such as grapes, pineapples, peanuts, melons, and all fruit trees producing fruit with seed in itself. I already mentioned apple, apricot, cherry, lemon and orange citrus trees, coconuts, dragon fruit, figs, olives, peach, pear, plum, and tree nuts. Oh yeah, tree nuts too, see? God lushly provided the couple with a buffet that included all nutrients for a healthy body. Imagine that. They had wall-to-wall Mandarin. Oh, by the way, Mandarin is the famous buffet restaurant here in Canada. God provided food for all his creation. Some ate leaves while others ate seeds or fruit from the trees or bushes. This shows that God took good care of all his creation. That means all animals were to eat vegetation. That's right. Tyrannosaurus Rex did not eat flesh. He ate vegetation. Who knows? Maybe those large teeth were made to crunch up tree stumps. I don't know. But my Bible says that all animals were to eat vegetation. All dinosaurs were vegetarians. And again we encounter the awesome power of God's word when he said, "It was so." And so ended the sixth day of creation. And God said, "It was very good."